The following show is a special presentation of PirateFlagRadio.com by Vandogg Media in association with the Lunch Hour and all of the other great content you can find at PirateFlagRadio.com. Underground radio from Bristol, Virginia. Enjoy the show.
Stables.
Yeah, I'm looking for a horseman.
A horseman?
A horseman goes by the name of Rick.
Not here.
Are you a horseman?
I could be. What can I do for you?
Friday night, you can see me at War Games. Bring all your horsemen, because I will have Moondog Spot, Moondog Rex, and the Monkey Brothers. Yeah, I'm looking for a horseman goes by the name of Rick Flair.
Don't know him.
Can I leave a message?
I guess.
All right, write this down. Tell him it's Big Dust.
Okay.
The American Dream.
Okay.
Tell him to meet me Friday night, Starcade.
Meet you at the Stockades.
Yeah, Starcade, Friday night.
I don't know what you're wasting your time for.
Is this Baby Doll? Baby Doll, I know that was you Jezebel! Hello, I'm looking for some horsemen.
I've got plenty. How many you need?
4.
4 horsemen.
Yes, sir. This Big Dust calling on behalf of Crocker Promotions.
Can't hardly understand what you're saying, but...
Sorry, I got a little bit of a lisp. What about Chris Benoit? Oh, he did. Sorry.
No, I don't really know what you're talking about.
Is this J.J. Dillon's?
No.
Don't lie to me, J.J.'s. You and I go way back, Jack.
Well, it ain't JJ. You got the wrong person.
Don't mess with the American dream, J.J. My eyes are open as big as silver dollars, Jack.
Well, you got the wrong guy.
You and I, J.J., leather strap match. Dustin Rhodes is the master of the strap match.
WPFR Pirate Flag Radio. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of consenting age. My name is Mike Vanek, and joining me today on a very special Hey Brother is my brother from another mother, Mr. Lunchbox. What's up, dog?
Hey, what's going on? Good afternoon, or I guess it'd be good evening to everybody out there in Bristol, Virginia, Bristol, Tennessee, and Johnson City, Tennessee, where the majority of our listener base is hanging out tonight. And we are also joined by a special guest of our guests, which would be my son. They call him a lot of things. He is Lunchbox Jr. He is Lunchable, but legally we call him Wolfgang. Hey, what's going on, buddy? How you doing today?
Good, and I can't believe you gave me a guitar for my birthday. I am very happy to welcome you. You are the most famous dad.
I am the most famous dad, ladies and gentlemen. You heard it here first from Wolfgang, and Wolfgang doesn't lie, except when he does. So I guess today we're doing a special Appalachian metal special, as it were. And Mike Van's going to show me some of the great artists from out on that neck of the woods. Is that the play today, brother?
Yeah. I live in the middle of Appalachia, and the Appalachian metal scene stretches from, say, North Carolina all the way up to Kentucky and everything in between. So today I got a bunch of cool bands to play for y'all. We're going to listen to it and then come back and talk about it. Let's start out the show. This is one of my favorite bands, and not just in the scene, but one of my favorite bands ever. This band represents Carter County, Tennessee, a little town called Elizabethton. They're called Windrider, and this song is called Pit Witch. We're going to go ahead and listen to it. We'll come back and talk about it. You're listening to Hey Brother with Lunchbox and Vanek on PirateFlagRadio.com.
Smoke this marijuana with your honor, say.
WPFR Power Flag Radio. That is the mighty Wind Rider from Carter County, Tennessee. What are your thoughts?
We all know doom metal is not necessarily my forte, but I enjoyed that. What's really cool is my son is over here. I gotta love that. And that was that nice sludgy, simple yet technically perfect riff coming out of there with that beautiful fuzzy sludgy tone. And Wind Rider for me, anytime we do this show, and I dig them. I like a lot of the bands out there. Like, I talk a lot of trash, about doom metal and whatnot, but in all reality, that's mostly just me enjoying talking trash more than anything else.
So Wind Rider is one of my best. They're one of my favorite bands, and getting to be really good friends with them. They're actually playing for us on August 2nd at the Fern Ridge Distro in downtown Bristol, Virginia. That's a free show, and it starts at 7 p.m. Yeah, they're really cool. Robbie, the guitar player, Ida calls him the Morgan Wallen of Carter County doom metal, which he does not really enjoy. But he is, and they're getting very successful. They're on satellite touring with our friends in Hatred, and they just toured through Canada in the Midwest, East Coast. So they're out there doing things, and they're playing at the Hideaway in Johnson City on August 26th, and then they're coming here and playing on or July 26th. Then they're coming here and playing on August 2nd. So, what are your closing thoughts?
Internationally touring. I mean, what an awesome thing for a bunch of hardworking dudes like that. So great for them. Like me, I've always had a big thing for anybody out there doing the work, putting in the time, putting in the effort. And it sounds like these guys are just really working hard, and it's great to see that paying off for them, because man, I just love to see it. Anybody that's out there doing the damn thing, we've been doing the damn thing for 20 plus years. They've been, so we've seen so many bands come and so many bands go. And it's always nice to see somebody actually getting rewarded for their hard work. So I raise my Bang energy drink to the boys in Wind Rider.
And lady. Their singer, Chloe. Yeah, their singer, Chloe, is really good at the whole networking thing. And when it comes to promoting her band and getting out there, and she does a lot of unsung work. And, her hard-ass work got them signed to a cool-ass label. They're on satellite touring, which is signing a lot of up-and-coming bands right now. Like I said, our friends Hatred are also on satellite touring. They're just a killer band. And what are your closing thoughts?
I already gave you my closing thoughts.
Okay, well,
good for them. Great for them. Awesome to hear that the work is being rewarded.
How many Hey Brothers would you give out of 5 for the Wind Rider?
I would give them 4.5 Hey Brothers.
All right.
Just because I can't give everybody a 5.
So our next band is a really high-powered, super stoner rock band from Whitesburg, Virginia, or Whitesburg, Kentucky, rather. And they are just as cool as all get out. This is called Werewolves on Pills by Buzzhound. You want to tell them where they're listening, brother?
They are listening on pirateflagradio.com.
What do they want?
WPFR Pirate Flag Radio. That was Buzzhound from Whitesburg, Kentucky, with Werewolves on Pills. What'd you think?
I don't think werewolves should be
Yeah.
doing pills, brother. Like that is definitely one of those things that I do not condone pill abuse by our lycanthrope friends. But what I do condone is that song and that track from those guys, because that was nasty, you know, doomy punk rock and to it. So I was into it. I liked it a lot.
Cool. Awesome. How many brothers would you give them?
I give that 3.5 brothers.
3.5. Hey, brothers. All right.
3.5. Hey, brothers. You didn't tell me we were doing a rating system here, brother.
Hey, man, we go by the fly. And if you can't
We go by the fly. We fly by the seat of our pants.
Hell yeah. So there's a big scene up there in Whitesburg. Also, it's real close to Norton, Virginia. And there's a band from there called Seasons of the Witch. And their guitar player, Mikey, lives up in Whitesburg. There's another band called Appalachian Atari that's really good that I think I've played for you before. And, you know, Pond Digger, and Kentucky's just full of good music. And one of these days I'm going to make it up there. All right. You ready for our next band?
Let's keep rolling, brother.
All right. This next band is some really good friends of mine, and they are cool as fuck. This is Obsidian Urn. You're listening to Hey Brother on pirateflagradio.com. .com.
To the face of blood and bone.
WPFR Power Flag Radio. That's the heaviest band in town, dog. That is The Heir to Sorrow by Obsidian Urn. And you can see them also at our Fern Ridge Distro show in Bristol, Virginia, August 2nd. They're also playing at the Hideaway coming up too. Love that band. Their drummer and their guitar player are good friends of mine. What do you think?
You know what? You've played those guys for me a lot. So as soon as you're like, next up, we're going to do Obsidian Urn, that's why I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Like, no, I dig those guys. Like that blackened doom metal that, you know, they're so heavy. They're so mean, you know, and just the sort of thing that just makes you want to bang your head straight into the stage.
Yes.
Like if you're down front, you've had one too many drinks at Elder Brew, like you're going to smash your skull right on the stage and you're going to be okay.
Yeah. So here's the deal. I saw them, well, I've seen them fucking shit, at least 7 times by now. I saw them recently though at Barley's in Knoxville with Wind Rider and a very good band called Realm. And man, they played first and they melted the place. You know what I mean? They were freaking heavy as hell. They have a 12-minute song called oh man. Anyways, they have a 12-minute song and it's called Stagnant. And when they play it live, you know, it is very, very, very close to the recorded thing. And it's just, I can't say enough good things about Obsidian Urn. They're a class act band in every way. And I hope everything works out for them because they're all great dudes. Izzy, Kevin Sewell, very well-known tattoo artist in our area. Shane Church, who is Pirate Flag Radio alumni. And then the mighty Jared Rogers on drums, who is actually doing, he does merch for Weed Eater right now. So, all great guys.
Once again, glad to hear, you know, good things are happening for great people. And, you know, like I said, I've always dug those guys every time you played them.
Let's move on. All right, so this next band is playing on the Pirate Flag Showcase, which we have coming up. It is July 19th at the Stockyard in Bristol, right next to Bristol Motor Speedway, 190 Raceway Villa Drive in Bristol, Tennessee. And we got Nerve Endings, which are local heroes around here. They're from Bristol. Jared Rogers from Obsidian Urn is in Nerve Endings. He plays bass. And then we have Coffin Smoke, which we're about to hear. We have Bakalu, which we're also going to hear. And then Moose Trainwreck Roberts, dog.
Oh!
Tickets are $10. Starts at 7 o'clock with DJ Hughes, and then the band start at 8. Please come support. And let's just get into it. This is Coffin Smoke with Left to Rot.
All right, I'm going to grow you when we get back, though.
Okay. You're listening to Hey Brother. Tell them where, Davey.
Right here on PirateFlagRadio.com.
That's right.
Draw
Representing East Tennessee, that's Coffin Smoke. The left or right, you're listening to Hey Brother with Lunchbox The Vandogg. What do you think, Doug?
So, always been a big fan of Coffin Smoke. Once again, another one of those bands that you show me regularly when we're on here. These guys are so heavy, so aggressive, and, can't wait to see them from the live video from the Pirate Flag Radio showcase. So that's where I wanted to grill you.
Okay.
Is how does it feel, brother, after almost a decade of a hiatus of promoting, that you're back at it? For those of you out there in Bristol, Virginia, and Bristol, Tennessee, and all surrounding areas that don't know, Mike Vannek was the guy for metal in the Modesto, California area. Mike Vannek was the one who, no matter what, he fought for it. If he started really regularly doing it at a crappy venue called the Palm Gardens in Modesto, which was the divinest ass dive bar that you've ever seen in your life in the hood. Like it was not a safe place to be. They had a little coke dealing hotel upstairs. We wrote a song about it, and it, when we first started playing there, when I first started attending there, I wasn't even old enough to get in. So I would sneak in or not based on how they were feeling that night until I was of age to go in. And then when I started a band a year or two into it, we would have members in my band that had to watch through the window because they were way underage. And from there, there was, shows at the Clarion Hotel, the Modesto Virtual, Tees and Greens, just all sorts of venues. And of course, I'm getting there. Shut the fuck up. And then the legendary Fat Cat Music House and Lounge, which included such big shows as Static X, Il Nino, Deicide, Crematorium, Exodus, who threatened to break your legs, Testament, and so many, many others. And, after the Fat Cat Music House and Lounge stopped really being our regular hub, we moved over into what we call the metal side of town, back to the hood, on the Yosemite Strip, which is, once again, awful. It's almost safe, as far as things go. We didn't have many problems there, oddly. But, it went full circle. And then, of course, you took the job touring with the Moonshine Bandits. And then, you moved off with, your beautiful multiple-time award-collecting wife, the one and only. You just laid dormant for a while, got a shoot job, worked at the grocery store for a while, eventually found your way over to the casino, and then you started doing this after you got obsessed with me and Brandon's podcast. And now you're back.
Yeah.
How's it feel?
It's surreal, dude. You know what I mean? I'm going out every day, promoting my shit and trying to get more shit. And it's like, I never stopped. There was a time when I wanted nothing to do with putting on shows. My last couple shows in Modesto, I was fucking absolutely miserable. But now it's cool. You know what I mean? I have my first show in 9 years in 2 weeks. And then the week after that, I'm playing my first show with Resin Party. That's my first show I've played in 11 or 12 years. And then a couple of weeks after that, we're putting on a free show at the Weed Shop, which I'm really happy about. And then I'm coming to California for a week. And then really, who knows after that? I got some meetings lined up, but I'm just saying, hey, the kid's back, dog, and I'm in it full steam. I'm gonna try to do it full time again.
And that's the thing is, towards the end of your run in Modesto, it just became you going through the motions. Like you were doing it because you didn't know what else to do. You're basically just doing it because that's what you did. And so now that, and I've been there. I've been at the point where I remember just thinking, man, these locals have egos for some stupid reason. I'm tired of dealing with these bands that treat our local, I hate the term scene, that. And when a music community becomes a scene is when it starts to die and starts to become a problem. It is because then you've got all these locals who they do what we do. They work regular jobs. And then on the weekends, they think of themselves as heroes. And so next thing you know, you're dealing with all these cats that, well, if I don't play third, like we're not showing up, and we want our $75 guarantee, and and you just want to be like, shut the fuck up, dude. Like, shut the fuck up. Like we're all supposed to be doing this for the love of the game, to keep entertainment alive in our town, and you just get burnt on it. And as well, I made my glorious return to promoting last year. It's been, and what was funny is I did the first show where we had over 300 people attend, and just massive. And then the next one I didn't turn out as well, and we had about 75 people paid through the gate, and I just thought of it as this abysmal failure, and it's not, because in any small town, when you've got something that draws near 100 people, it's going to make money for the establishment, as long as you didn't break the bank renting out a hall or something.
And that's what I'm shooting for. Just 100 people, and who knows what's going to happen. We're promoting it. We got, we have a really strong lineup, and we'll see what happens when it happens. But I want to send a shout out to Evan and Felicia Hughes, who put their trust in me to have a Saturday night at their venue. You know what I mean? So I'm really happy to be back, and it's weird because I'm out here doing things, and I got good partners in David at the Fern Ridge Distro and Evan and Felicia at the Stockyard, and we're just gonna keep going. You know what I mean, and see how far. Also, shout out to everybody at Elderborough, who I'm basically there every day, and really happy that Shane Church booked me on that show with Moose.
The thing is, it sounds like all in all, the community out there is, they've started to embrace the work you're putting in. That it sounds like the town of Bristol is a lot like the town of Los Banos out here where I'm at. Of course, the Bristol Motor City Speedway. What?
Yeah. No, dude, you're absolutely right.
Outside of the Speedway, there's not a lot. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that's not big, but that sort of entertainment's not for everybody. Nothing is for everybody, but it sounds like you guys are really trying to get something going again, bring entertainment back to a community. And it sounds like the community's really embracing it. Is that accurate?
Very accurate. And the thing is Bristol used to be a hub for entertainment. And then COVID hit. And a lot of businesses closed, and a lot of businesses went away, and there's not 20 stages in Bristol anymore. And I'm making it my mission to bring shows back to this town, because there used to be shows in O'Mannon's, and there's legendary venues here like 7th Street, and I can go on and on, that were the hub. And now it's few and far between that we get shit like that. And luckily, the Stockyard just opened, and they're mainly do country, classic rock and tribute acts. But they were cool enough to be like, hey, if you want to put on a show, you can bring your scene here, and we'll see how it works. And I'm just, I am over the moon that they told me that, because they're hella cool people, number one, and the place is really nice. You know what I mean? They're country as hell. They do the national anthem before the shows, but I don't care. It's a place for us to jam, and we don't have a lot of that in our town, and that's what I'm trying to bring to Bristol, is more opportunities for our scene, if that makes any sense to you.
Absolutely. Just trying to bring, like you said, some entertainment. And the cool thing is, unlike in Modesto, you were kind of relegated more to the metal and rock side of things. Mm-hmm. Whereas out there in Bristol, you've made those connections with people like Moose Roberts, and you've made those, the doom metal scene's pretty big out there. There's a bit of a black metal scene. There's rock and roll, and you've got the ability to crossed the boundary a little bit. And I mean, you know me and my fandom
totally.
of mixed genre shows. I try to always set my shows up where no two bands sound alike. That was one of the complaints we had, especially back in the late 2000s and the early 2010s and teens, is the fact that when you wanted hardcore bands, you booked a hardcore show, and next thing you know, you've got 8 bands that sound the same, or the deathcore thing or the metalcore thing, and all these bands sound exactly alike, and nobody wanted to cross that boundary. It sounds like you have the ability to do that, and you have musicians who are willing to do that, and I think that's going to be a big deal for you guys.
To button it up, I'm just happy to have an opportunity to do what I love again, because for the better part of 17 years, that was my livelihood. For the better or the worse, I had the shit jobs where I washed dishes and shit, but I was Mike Vanek from 209 Productions for a long fucking time. And now I'm Mike Vanek from Pirate Flag Radio, and Pirate Flag Radio is going to be putting on shows. So look out for them.
Here we go. Yo ho, motherfuckers. The ship is
All
sailing.
right. So let's keep it going, shall we? I got a couple more songs for you.
Go.
And we got about a half an hour left. Or hold on, let me look.
We got
18
minutes
left. Let's rock and roll, strut and stroll, and get the job done all night long, lifting barbell plates and eating T-bone steaks. All right, that is the wrong tab. All right. So this next band is going to be on the Pirate Flag Showcase. This is Bakaloo with Panic. You're listening to Hey Brother. Tell them where, brother.
PirateFlagRadio.com, bitches.
WPFR Pirate Flag Radio. That was Bakaloo with Panic. What'd you think, Doc?
Dude, you've had me play Bakalu on my show, The Lunch Hour, which you can catch Friday nights live on Facebook and YouTube at The Lunch Hour on both of those platforms. And you can catch every Saturday night at 11 p.m. over there on the Eastern Seaboard, which would be 8 p.m. over here Pacific time. But I'm a big fan, man. And they're really nice guys. Like, as soon as I was like, hey, you guys mind if I play you? They're just like, oh, my God, somebody from the West Coast. And I'm like, hey, man, just to let you know, Mike Vanek tipped me off. And they're like, that's badass, too. Like, you know, so either way, man, like, it's once again, it always goes back to the fact of I love the people that are willing to put in the work, actually answer messages on social media, and treat it like it should be, which is a sales gig, you know?
Yeah.
And so a big fan of those guys. I like their music a lot.
Cool. I love them.
Hey, brothers.
Yeah. Zach's cool as fuck. And I haven't seen him yet, but right before I got the job at the casino, I was actually rehearsing to try out to sing for that band. And then I got the lineup. The tryout was all set. And right before couple days before the tryout, I got a full-time job at the casino making fucking buttloads of money. So I had to be like, hey, I can't do it. You know what I mean? But nothing but props for those guys. And I'm really happy that they're playing my first show. So happy as fuck. Next, we have Bristol, Virginia royalty. These guys have been around for the last 10 years. And I played them for you before. But, you know, it's a new day and a new show. So I wanted the crowd to hear this band. This is probably the biggest band in Bristol, and they are headlining the Pirate Flag Showcase on July 19th at the Stockyard. This is Nerve Endings with Drop Out. This is live at the Hideaway in fucking Johnson City, Tennessee, which is our mecca around here. Hope you enjoy it. Tell them where to listen, brother.
We're from over there, and we're happy to be here with Ringworm and no other band. Thanks a lot. This song is about my balls. It's called Dropout.
WPFR Pirate Flag Radio. That is the mighty nerve endings. A little bit of punk rock for you here on your Appalachian Metal special. What are your thoughts, sir?
Go grab a beer. Like,
Okay.
I felt like I was at the Hideaway, so I needed to go get me one because, you know, it was like I was there. The nerve endings did a really good job of making me feel like I was live in studio with him there, or in venue with him there. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna run to the fridge real quick while that's going on, and you know, skank my way over to the fridge and grab me a beer. Like, I'm glad, you know, you turned the camera off on our side so that way, you know, the good people of Facebook and YouTube didn't see that just tremendously terrible display of me skanking that way.
It's all good, brother. So that's a big band around here, and they are super nice guys. Their drummer is a high school teacher.
You know, I always love that shit when artists in the area are school staff. We got a guy out here who he's the guitar instructor for the junior high and high school, and he plays in several bands. When I went down and called Lompoc for Best of West Pro Wrestling not long ago, the local baseball coach, Buddy Royal, is one of our wrestlers. And what was funny is he's going against one of the more renowned wrestlers there. That's he's a trainer. He's a veteran, and maybe the nicest guy I've ever met. And Buddy Royal is supposed to be playing the nasty dick ass heel, and yet half the crowd still cheered for him till the end of the match when he really goes all crazy and starts beating the shit out of Tsunami with a chair because he's all trying to fuck with the crowd and trying to talk shit, and there's people in the crowd with signs for him and whatnot. And so it was a bit of a mismatch in that regard, but it was fun. And then, you know, like I've noticed in wrestling more often than not, the guys portraying the heels or bad guys, as it were, tend to be the nicest guys.
Word.
And Buddy Royal was the same way. And so you always got to love when the artists are community members, like school teachers or firefighters, or, you know, the guy in the local shop downtown that everybody goes to, because not only does it draw people, it gets enthusiasm, especially when people don't recognize that side of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even as myself, you know, in Losers or in many of the other bands, people who knew me from the convenience store or Coca-Cola or whatever other job I've held, when they see you hit the stage and they're just like, I didn't realize you did that.
Yeah, I asked Noah the other day, like, do kids you teach fucking trip out when they see you at punk rock shows? And he's like, oh yeah. Their other members are hella cool though. Jared works at the weed store, and then he's a merch guy for Weed Eater. Sterling, their singer, is a really good line cook, and he works at one of the bigger restaurants here in town. And then Will works with me at the casino, and you see him walking around in his casino outfit, and you know, and then there he is at the Hideaway kicking ass. So that's the nerve endings, and we got about time for one more.
All right, what do we got, brother? What's on deck? What's our headliner tonight?
Our headliner is a band that I've been dying to see lately. I've never seen them, but they're from Johnson City. This is God Size. You're listening to Hey Brother on pirateflagradio.com.
Hey, brother.
WPFR Pirate Flag Radio. So that's God size, brother. And real quick, we got like 5 minutes. What do you think?
I was into it, man. God size is how they put it, doom rock sludge metal over here on Pirate Flag Radio. That was a good time, man. Like it seems like that's kind of the gig out there in the southern realm of Appalachia, you know, up there in North Kakalaki and Kentucky and all them areas. And you know what? Good on them, man. It's nice to see, you know, something that's been around a while be, you know, what's old is new again. And it's nice to see that, you know, making some headway out there, sludging along, and really solid, man. Like every band you show me tonight's been a lot of fun to listen to.
Well, with that being said, where can people find you on social media, brother?
You know what? I'm available at the Almighty Lunchbox on Instagram, and as discussed previously, the Lunch Hour. That's Lunch Hour Show on Facebook, on YouTube, and see a picture of me and my beautiful wife. Sorry about the picture of me. You're welcome for the picture of her. And next week we will have an interview live on Facebook and YouTube at 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's midnight over there on the Eastern Seaboard. And check your local listings for times with the one and only Scream Queen.
Actually, that's going to be on tomorrow, because as we're listening to this, it'll be on tomorrow.
No, because we're not filming that till next week. When live on Friday, July 11th, we have.
Okay, cool.
We have Scream Queen. Dude, if I did that last night, first of all, I would have cut my 4th of July short. And secondly, I would be over the moon about it because, like I said, Friday, July 11th, Lunch Hour Show on Facebook, Lunch Hour Show on YouTube at midnight over there on the Eastern Seaboard, 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Check your watches, set your calendars, because we have the hardest working woman in Hall of Famer herself, the beautiful and insanely talented Jessa Jupiter Flux, coming to hang out with us on the Lunch Hour, and I can't wait to pick her brain. She's a sweetheart of a woman. She works super hard, and she ain't hard on the eyes either.
Yeah.
If you check it out, the Lunch Hour show.
Yeah.
Oh, she's beautiful. And if you go and if you're a fan of the Tubi or many of the other streaming platforms, check out a little movie called Murder Size, done by Paul and Angie Ragsdale out here of Modesto fame. And if you want to get a little preview of what you're getting to see with Jessa Jupiter Flux, she'll be showing more in that movie than she'll be showing on my show, probably. Like, who knows? I don't know what she's up for. But as she said in that movie, she paid for him. Someone's going to look at him. So come hang out with us next Friday night with The Box and the Bride and Jessa Jupiter Flux. I'm so excited, brother. She's been super chatty too. Like she DMs me at least every other day just to shoot the shit. And I couldn't be more excited to have such a hardworking and known figure in the underground horror scene coming to hang out with me.
Well, my name is Mike Vanek and I suck. Please support Pirate Flag Radio at pirateflagradio.com. If you'd like merchandise, you can get t-shirts, hats, hoodies, and a whole lot more at tpublic.com. Just search Pirate Flag Radio WPFR. And if you'd like to donate to a nonprofit, independent, underground radio station dedicated to the artist and the listener, just go to our PayPal. It's pirateflagradio209@gmail.com. All right, guys. Any wise words from the wise man, as we say on Me and My Uncle?
Well, there ain't no wise people here, just wise asses. And and those wise asses tell you get your ass over to pirateflagradio.com. Check out all the outstanding shows we got there, including Fuzzkill with Carrie C. Allen, Dive Bar Country with a rotating panel of hosts. Of course, Sounds from the Underground with the one and only Mike Vanek Sucks, the aforementioned Lunch Hour show, and so much more content. I couldn't remember if Moose was still broadcasting. I know he's had some health issues, So
I got you, brother.
All that being said, man, come on over to Pirate Flag Radio if you want to.
All right, guys. For my brother, the Lunchbox Dave Usry over there in Los Banos, California, I'm Mike Vanek, broadcasting live from the WPFR mansion in Bristol, Virginia. Thank you for listening. This will be airing once a month, on the Friday that Sounds from the Underground usually plays on. So Sounds from the Underground isn't being on tonight. It'll be back next week. All right, Davey. This has been fun, bro. We'll see you guys all next time right here on pirateflagradio.com.
Hey, brother.